Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Umzansi Esports League Season 3. This is the live show. My name is Dr. Sid, here with two amazing gentlemen, Snare and Thendo Plays, and we are talking FIFA 21 today. It's been an awesome few months of action, but we are getting closer to the end of the Umzansi Esports League. Without further ado, let's take a look at the schedule for today. All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We have two matches today in the FIFA 21 tournament with DarthMayhem going against Bobo Beast, and then we have Young Savage going up against Masoom. These two matches promise to be packed with action as the top of the table is heating up and people are fighting for those places to get into the next round. But what are they fighting for? They're fighting for our amazing prize pool, which we'll be taking a look at right now. And like we've said over and over again, it stands at an amazing $17,500, which is the prize pool for Season 3, with $15,000 going to the PUBG Mobile prize pool and $2,500 staying right here in FIFA 21. Obviously, today we have two amazing matchups, but the first matchup is going to be against two really talented players. And let's take a look at who they are. It is DarthMayhem and Bobo Beast. Snare, you want to talk us through what these guys are bringing to the table?
So Bobo Beast, DarthMayhem, in order, are the two newest entrants into the Umzansi Esports League, and accordingly, they unfortunately are rounding out the bottom of the table. But one of the things that's going to be exciting about the two players is this entire time they've been playing against some really tough competition, some of the giants in the scene. Now they have a chance to establish who's actually one of the better new kids on the block. Neither of them have been signed to an organization. Neither of them have that major amount of backing. So they're doing it legitimately, doing it themselves. So they need to show here today that they can win it out. Bobo Beast needs to show that he's more than a counter-attacking machine, and DarthMayhem that he's more than just the across long through ball passing player.
Thendo, do you want to tell us what is happening with the table as we look at the names, numbers, and photographs?
Yeah, today is a really big day to shake up the table, I think. I mean, look, we're looking at Bobo and Darth, and it's a little bit of a consolation game, that Snare did say we're just gonna see who's the better of the underdog story over here, who's gonna finish on top of the other one. Well, even if Darth does win, he's still only gonna get 3 points, so that's besides the point. But the real matchup here that we're looking at is Savage and Masoom. That one is all the fire, all the action. It's league determining, because if Masoom takes the victory in that one, finishing off with the 16 points, it's going to be really tough for Savage to kind of bounce back into that top 4 position, because there's still a lot of other players in the top of that table that still need to, get some points in. Beast needs to get some points in still, and FaZe still needs to get some points. Moby, the underdog story coming from the bottom, rising up, sitting 5th place, almost in that playoff position, also needs to get these games in. So I think the big pressure today is probably all on Savage's shoulders. But I'm excited to see this Bobo and Mayhem, matchup. Guys, we've seen goals. Look at the goal difference over the DarthMayhem. Do you think Bobo's gonna penetrate that barrier? Like, let's talk real talk.
My question is DarthMayhem gonna hit the -40 mark?
I don't.
That's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm worried about today. But we have some new information to pass on to you guys. We have the brackets for the next round, which we'll be taking a look at, so you guys can see exactly what's going to be happening in the next phase of the FIFA 21 tournament and exactly when that's going to be played. So on August 6th and August 7th, you can see the semifinals 1 and 2, with the person in first position taking on the person in fourth, and the person in second position taking on the person in third. And then on the 8th of August, my younger brother's birthday, we will be having the grand finale with the winner of semifinal 1 taking on the winner of semifinal 2. Now, I would like for us to go back to the standings just to take a very quick look at who is where and who can potentially end up elsewhere. So right now we're looking at Masoom sitting pretty with the Beast Bianchi as well, 14 points. With one game to play. So the maximum number of points they can get is obviously 16. Now, unfazed, Divac is pretty much done. He's capped at 10 points. There's no more games for him to play. Mobizilla and Unfazed have one more game to play, which means they can maximum possibly end up on 13 points. Young Savage has two games to play, which means he can possibly end up on 15 points going to the top of the leaderboard. It is safe to say that if Young Savage wins this game today, he is definitely qualifying for the next round. Does that make sense?
It is not safe to say that. It is not safe to say that. It's only safe to say that Divac is no longer qualifying, because if Young Savage wins, then he kicks out Divac, but then Moby still has to play tomorrow, the Beast still has to play tomorrow, Unfazed still has to play tomorrow, and Young Savage has to play again tomorrow. So,
but like the real question now, Sneh, is who's those matchups against, right? Who is Beast versing, right? I'm looking at the table, and obviously today Bobo's games are going to be finished, so it's going to be a tough match in those final games anyways. I think
I'm wondering if we had the rest of the matchups. We'll probably talk about that during the break and stuff. If we have sort of like the schedules for the rest of the matches, so we could also sort of draw out all these numbers and things like that to see who plays who tomorrow and what time they're doing that, because that would be nice to really build some anticipation. Because where I'm looking at this table, it's so exciting. It's likes of DarthMayhem already out, Bobo Beast, already out. This match we're looking at is probably just a novelty match for bragging rights to see who's the best loser, so to speak. But from Young Savage upwards, that is where the fire is going to be happening. Now, the match is going to be kicking off very, very shortly. I'm going to definitely ask for predictions. I'm looking for a situation where Bobo Beast just at least, just breaks a record and pushes DarthMayhem over the -40 mark.
I'm telling y'all it's not going to happen. I'm telling y'all. Maybe 39, but not
So that's just 3 goals. You know what I'm saying? That's like a 3-goal a gap. So in that case, if you say it's not going to happen, I'm going to take predictions from both of you. So first, Tendo, what's your prediction for today's game?
Yeah, tale of the underdogs. It's kind of tough, because when you're watching like Crystal Palace versus like Wolves, and you're just like, what is going to happen? It's that kind of format right now. So I think maybe Bobo has the upper hand in this one, because let's be honest, I think the way that Darth's season has been going, it's been a downhill slope, and realistically speaking, I don't know if he's going to be able to pull anything out of the bag, right? So I think I'm giving it to Bobo 4-0. Just a little extra,
4-0. I like that. Snare, what you got for me, man?
Listen, Bobo Beast took on Julio Beast and won a surprise. The only victory he's managed to get in the competition, right, is against the player at the very top. Now, here's a guy at the bottom who's not won a single game. Today's the day. 3-2. Let's go, DarthMayhem.
Okay, DarthMayhem 3-2, Bobo Beast 4-0. Predictions are in. The match is kicking off. I will see you guys after the matches.
Thank you, Dr. Sid. Are you ready to be wrong, Tendo? Are you ready to see the boy DarthMayhem? He's going to pull through here. This is the time, fam. Don't worry. This time around it's going to happen. It's coming home for Darth.
Underdog FC has lived up to the name. I think some exciting things have come from Bobo so far. So I'm really confident in Bobo's ability today. And despite him having to, sit in that relegation spot, I think coming into those relegation playoffs, he's looking like a strong candidate to return to the season. He's already starting off strong here. Atal's on the ball! Oh! So there's the first 5 minutes in. Snell, you trying to change that prediction, or what's happening?
We're good, my G. 3-2. There's a lot of football left to play. It's all good. We're fine. Although I will say that he is definitely looking like a man out for blood here today. Underdog FC warmed up well, not playing any games, and he somehow managed to keep DarthMayhem from even getting a sniff at the ball, despite the fact that he's twice now inside the box. Oh my god. Okay, where did this cleanness come from, and where was this these last few weeks? Because now he's back inside the box, the roulette, the goal. But it's offside. You see, the refs are on DarthMayhem's side. It's fine, fam. They're going to cop the prediction for me. It's all good.
Clinical so far from Bobo. Really impressed with his gameplay. And it's tough the way the season is positioned, right? You know, you only have 8 players, and those are like the 8 best players. So there's never really room to make mistakes. And you know, being at the bottom of the table, you know, you get that pressure on top of you, and it just becomes like a rolling ball where next game you lose, the game after that you lose, and you just can't pick up your feet. So when you do get opportunities like this, you definitely need to show everybody that you are here to, you know, in a sense, stay and perform. So far, he's looking really good, Bobo. Darth, haven't seen much. His defense is also looking a little bit haphazard.
Yeah, definitely not maintaining the shape that we've sort of seen him build up over the last few weeks. Sure, we might have had issues with it crumbling after he's taken a couple of successful attacks, but for the most part, not looking nearly as clean as he has. One of the things I think, okay, might have another goal here. Shot. Oof, damn. All right. All right. I said 3-2, so that's the last goal. Thank you for getting them out of the way early. So now we're just going to have one-way traffic from DarthMayhem. On a more serious note, what you were mentioning about how the structure of the league puts you against the best of the best week in, week out. These kind of opportunities where for Bobo Beast, he's actually not the underdog, where he's like favored in a matchup, definitely don't come along every single day here in the league.
Yeah, and you really have to take it. And so far, he is definitely taking it. He's looking really good with his plays. He's going to get some build up here. Cancelo on the ball. Fernandez needs to be a little bit careful because Darth is known for being able to just explode on the ball. So when Darth is given that opportunity to explode, he's definitely going to take it. And we almost saw it there. He almost scored that, you know, it was looking really good, except it went wide. So now ball's back in. Ronaldo takes the shot. Keeper's there. Last ditch effort, stretches, gets it out. So now Darth needs to breathe. He needs to restructure. The play is actually on for him. Yeah, maybe something's going to emerge, just maybe from the shadows.
He's going to try his best, gets the ball to Ben Yedder, looking for some space, but Ben Yedder finds a space all by his lonesome, runs forward, gets the ball. Oh my goodness, Kyle Walker gets a foot on the ball at the very last second, forces him off it. It looked like it might have been the opportunity there. Sadly, for DarthMayhem, it ends up not going the way he thought. Although it is a little bit of a sign of life that since the second goal, not only has he not been nearly as haphazard on the defense, as I say, that beautiful touch for the interception, but also we're not seeing the normal trend of him completely collapsing on the defense. Ironically enough, it seems to be the inverse. His defense has gotten better as the goals have come.
Yeah, definitely. And look, you look at the tale of how Darth's season went, and you may be looking at it with only negatives, right? But at the end of the day, the nice thing about us being in a league like this, where it's just a week in, week out competition, is you're improving, you know, bit by bit here and there, etc. And it's like, you know, there's like an A-tier scene, there's like a B-tier scene, and there's like a C-tier scene, right? Obviously, in South Africa, this would be considered like the A-tier scene because we have all the top pros. So, you know, when you start to go down to the lower scene, you'll find that Darth is probably going to be really, really good after the season. You know, he's learned a lot from his mistakes. I'm sure he's trying to restructure his defense and how he's attacking. And hopefully next season we see some good things from him. But for now, he needs to focus on not getting this goal difference to -40 because one more.
Listen, at this point, nothing is more important than pride, since victory is no longer an option to get you into the playoffs. Victory just to maintain pride will do. Less than 40, like you mentioned, that's all he needs. And he's preventing this third goal. The ball is bogged down in midfield. Difficult for the movement from Bobo to be successful, and it ends up getting blocked out. Unfortunately, DarthMayhem didn't take enough time to really breathe on the ball and ends up giving it right back towards Bobo, who's looking for the third goal, looking to make the goal difference officially -40. Not happened just yet. On the flank, Mendy not going to be able to find any supporting players, so forced to recycle it back into midfield. Luka Modric finds Bumper, trying to break through the attack, but Bobo positioned properly, but the ball finally gets past. Will it get over? How many times have we seen DarthMayhem get scored in exactly that same pattern of attack? But this time around, like you mentioned, the improvement over weeks pays off as he blocks it. It's not good.
Yeah, and it's opposition like Bobo who, you know, they're almost, you know, similarly matched, where you can start to see that stuff that he learned from versing the more stronger opponents in the league, right? So you can really implement it here to his advantage, and I think he just needs to get out of his head, you know, as well. Sometimes when you're pinned at the bottom, you really sink into your head and you start to think like everything's against you. But you definitely need to just back your skill. And I think Darth here today needs to back his skill. And half time, we're still sitting 2-0. So far, it's not bad, you know. Possession-wise, it's definitely the Bobo Beast show. I mean, he's holding that possession so tight, and so far his plays have been looking good. The link-up plays, and I mean, I just see more goals coming from Bobo's side here. But I'm not counting Darth out just yet. I think so far he stabilized after the couple of splidges that happened.
Yeah, normally what we've actually seen from him is that he'll come into a game with a bit more fire, and then after the goals get scored, that douses the flames. So I kind of feel like in this one, the goals came very early on, right? And since the goals have happened, it's not necessarily felt like the same half. It's felt like a markedly different style of game. And I think if he can continue to play that style of game, in particular making sure to prevent any of the balls from Bobo Beast actually finding its way through midfield, generally we've seen that Bobo, although yes, he can make those deep passes, doesn't necessarily like to not be playing out in possession. So you keep the ball bogged down, not allowed to do anything useful. You do have a chance as our DarthMayhem. Half number 2, Tendo, we're underway. If one more goal ends up happening, that might end up breaking Bobo's spirit in the same way we've seen before. But for now, he's not playing in his head. He's defending well. That might draw the foul from the referee, and indeed it does. Got a free kick in a very dangerous position.
Free kick getting lined up now. Big opportunity to score. It comes in flying, and it's a header! Oh, it's beautiful. It's wonderful. Bobo's here, and he's making it happen. 3-0 on the day. Beginning of the second half, so now the pressure is just immense from Darth to get a goal, you know, just to put something on the board, you know, because you got to really walk out of this one and show what you can do and what you are made out of. And you can't just let Bobo, 7th position, run you over in a sense. Even if you are sitting at 8, you know, it's still top flight, you know, top of the leagues. Oh, it's a tough one, man. It's a tough one.
I mean, both of them have similar claims to fame to getting here, right? Beating out scores of competitors in the Nkosi Super Cup. But now, Bobo demonstrating that he's the much better of those competitors. And about to get a 4th one. Oh, God. All right, Bobo with the touch. CR doesn't need the header this time around. Gets the ball beautifully into the bottom corner. Now, DarthMayhem, no longer possible to pray for your own pride. Please, fam, pray for mine. Do not let Tendo have the correct prediction. Help me out here.
Look, I mean, if he scores one more, then my prediction is wrong in a sense, right? So, you know, you haven't lost just yet. So. As it stands, 4-0, 60th minute approaching, and so far the plays from Bobo have just been superb, honestly. You know, it's a sour story, this one, right? You have to be happy for how Bobo's performing. Oh my gosh.
All right, so that's 3 balls. From midfield, 1 long ball to Ronaldo, who gets past every player on the flank. 1 slight chip to Mbappe, and you blink, you'll miss it, and it's 5-0. Ha! Guess what? You were wrong, Timbo. What do you know about this game?
Just trying to add a little bit of color during the build-up play, but they just buried me away here. So, yeah, as I was saying before I was interrupted by the most amazing goal, it's a sour story tonight. You know, looking at this game, I'm happy in Bobo's performance after the tough season that he had. I think you can end off the season pretty happy, you know, with a win like this, feeling really good about your play, knowing that you can compete with the best and you do have the potential. But then you flip the coin and you look at Darth, and it's like, how come? Like, how did the season go? Like 0 points as well. It's really heavy on the shoulders to try bounce back next season and work your way up. But relegation battle is still an option, obviously, you know.
Yeah. It's not necessarily guaranteed that this loss here will send him out permanently from the Esports League, but this goal will keep him out of it potentially for a little bit longer. Doesn't end up happening, but I think it's interesting that you're mentioning about like the difference in their stories, right? Because we are seeing a lot of the things from Bobo that weren't necessarily there at the beginning of the league now coming in very useful in this game. His midfield control, his passing wasn't as crisp. He was much more reliant on these superstar explosive dribbling runs, now has rounded out more of his gameplay. And also doesn't look like he is content to stop scoring here. You know, he's been on the receiving end of some horrific scorelines, so he's trying to make sure that he can get his own back. Bamba in the box right now, looking for his way to get inside. Even though he's drawing 2 defenders, he's still on possession, not being drawn off the ball. Eventually, though, he tries to outskill, and the patience from DarthMayhem will allow him to regain possession of the ball, but not for long. Immediately regained in midfield.
Towel on the ball now for Bobo. Loses it in play, so it's going to flip to the opposite end. It's Neymar for Darth, but much like the whole game, nothing really emerges from that attacking play. Have you seen a single shot? Like, there was that one shot that I think came from the first half that looked like a cracker for Darth, but so far he's been so quiet in the attack. He hasn't been able to explode like, you know, he normally can do against, you know, the more, you know, stronger opponents, which is weird, right? Because I find it interesting when you have 2 underdogs versing each other. It almost feels like, because they both at like a similar skill level, the one is just like kind of like, I don't want to use the word given up in a sense, right? It's just like what's the point in a sense, right? It almost feels like Darth is playing and he's not showing that same fire that I really fell in love with throughout the season. You know, him being in a tough position for most of it, but here we go. He's on attack. Can he make something happen? Yeah, he gets the ball in, but it's taken out, so it's going to be another corner.
He's going to try to get this in, unleashes the ball, but not going to be able to get a goal off of it. I know exactly what you mean. When he's playing up against some of these tougher opponents, there's definitely a bit more fire to him, because he's like, well, I should be losing this matchup, so I'm going to play even harder to get anything back. But in this one, he doesn't feel like he should be that much of an underdog, and yet nonetheless still prevented from doing anything that looks like he's in a same or similar skill bracket. And we have scorelines that are reflecting what it's looked like against everyone else. Another goal might be incoming. Bamba, he's been attacking for so long here, DarthMayhem. Almost got an immediate counter-attack going up against them. And it's not over. Not done just yet. Bamba gets the ball off the reception of the strong challenge from Matal, who's waiting for the reception back on the ball. Ronaldo gets his way past the defender. The roulette will be there. Still has possession. The final touch, not going to be good enough, though, to get him into a decent angle. Goes out for a corner kick. But this is very disturbing, Tendo. It might still be 6 for the final play of the game.
Thankfully, keeper's there to clear it out, and the ref's going to call the whistle. This is the first leg that time, you know what I mean? Like, what are we going to see in the second leg for Darth to, you know, bring back some confidence in this fixture, you know? I mean, for Bobo right now, you can't fault him. I think everything is really just going his way. He has majority of the possession. So it's not even like one of those games where you'll maybe find that Darth is actually doing most of the attacking and he's causing a lot of pressure and these goals are coming from counter attacks. It's actually just the Bobo show. You know, plain and simple. There's not really any fire coming from Darth, you know, as I keep saying. So what can we throw into this fire? Some charcoal, some wood for Darth, you know, just to end off the season with a little bit of a bang, you know, for us all. At this point, it's minus 50. You know, it could happen. Like, if that happens, I'm out. You know, I'm gonna have to.
Listen, I'm pretty sure that at this short of a notice, they wouldn't be able to replace us both. So make sure that it's not minus 50, because we're both done at that point. I don't know. I think for DarthMayhem, right? You mentioned it earlier. It's his head. Clearly, we've seen him play against stronger opponents than Bobo Beast and have more possession, have better passing, have goals against these players, even if it doesn't necessarily transpire into a win. We've seen that from this player. So at this point in time, it's just like you mentioned. He's like, well, okay, if I can't even bring it to against Bobo, this is the one time I thought that I might be able to play a certain style. I mean, earlier on, one of the reasons he's adopted being so defensive over the weeks and having to rely so much on explosive counterattacks is because you don't necessarily have that option of playing through midfield or with dominant possession with a sort of more loose formation against all the top 6 and above. And you can see at the beginning of the game, he thought maybe I can make that happen here. Didn't work out at the beginning. It was cool. I can change back to the things I've learned throughout the season. But even then, it turned out not to be good enough against Bobo. So I think at this point, DarthMayhem, you know, sometimes I think he actually might just need not the break, but I think he might need the relegation, right? In the sense that if he's playing against all these Titans, he says, okay, I can't really do this right now. Once he plays against the Nkosi Super Cup, if he's in that relegation battle, he's still going to be there with Bobo. So maybe part of what can get him back is to think about that this is not a matchup for the Umzansi Esports League, but it's potentially round 1 of qualifying for Season 4 instead of the last matchup for Season 3. And that might help him out in terms of thinking through how to react here.
Yeah, and I think that's like, something that you need to commend a lot of, professionals, in the esports industry, players especially, right? Where it's like you're in this situation where you just have to change your entire mindset and flip it. And that's what you're, basically, saying, that he needs to just flip his mindset and say that Umzansi Esports is done. And it's now time to just focus on this relegation. And this is definitely the first stepping stone, right? Because like, if you can't really perform in this matchup against someone that is also going with you, to the relegation, what are you gonna do against those kids that have been working through this Nkosi, super, season to come to the Umzansi Esports League, hosted by Nodwin Gaming? And you can't even pull up 1 point on the board right now. So there's a lot that we need to see here. But so far, it's looking explosive as he's trying to run in onto Bobo.
Trying his best to get the match started with a positive situation for him. No, okay, I was about to say what? That was going to be something if that had been allowed. I think the key for him, he needs not just to get an early goal, but he needs to be in a dominant position for at least a sustained period of like 10 minutes of game time. That's probably a big frustration as well. He's pretty much playing at the behest of Bobo. And oh my God, are you kidding me? What a touch. What defense. All right, Bobo. All right, okay, we see you, fam. We see you.
He's coming in, firing at all cylinders at least. And it looks like he's trying to turn the scoreline around. There's a pass there that was open for him, but he didn't quite see it just yet. But now it's actually going to be Neymar on the ball. Neymar... that was questionable. That was questionable, but we'll slide past it just like Neymar did, and he's back at least on the attack. He can maybe make something happen. Ben Yeda on the ball finds the pass, and now there's a shot in, and that's what we need from you. It's here. It's time. It's the Umzansi Esports League, and DarthMayhem is trying to show us why he belongs here now.
Finally, pulling through, gets a goal. His nearest competitor is DarthMayhem, is Bobo Beast, and he gets it. That was also the kind of goal that he needed. It was a style that is very comfortable for him. It wasn't a situation where it was incredibly scrappy. He had some intent towards how to make that run. Now the only question is, can he replicate that success? Still a long road ahead of him, 1 goal, but here's another chance. DarthMayhem doesn't decide to lay off the ball. I think he had a little bit of a chance between Mbappe and Neymar to interplay there, but Mbappe is still back on possession. Can't keep the ball, regains it. Oh, what's happening? Stiff movements today. I think somebody must have updated the WWE pack here in FIFA, but it is what it is. As an attack, he has to defend this. Oh my gosh, what a block. What a save. What a save.
I thought that was going to go in, honestly. It looks really good. Counter play from Bobo. Corner comes in, flying, but just hits a bunch of bodies. Doesn't really go anywhere besides the keeper's hands, and now it's kicked upfield, a bit of a chase here, but it's going to be Bobo to retrieve it, so he's all good. And I just hope that Bobo doesn't fall asleep a little bit as well. I hope that first goal woke him up, and maybe that is exactly the case, as it's now Ronaldo!
All right.
And it's actually the keeper. It's sent it wide. So now they're going to reset for a corner, and he's coming in. Mbappe on the ball. Can he make a play here? He's trying to build it up, but the defense is looking really strong on the side of Darth. He's looking really composed right now. But for how long can he stay composed? Mendy's in. Mendy finds Ronaldo. Ronaldo's dangerous in this position. And it's going to be a free kick.
That's even more dangerous of a position granted now to Ronaldo. Right outside the 18-yard box, 20 meters out. Ronaldo stacked up. They're actually going to go for the shot of Bruno Fernandes instead. And it curls into that top corner. Easily becomes another goal. 6-1 now. The hard work that DarthMayhem had gotten himself a goal with has immediately been undone. We're right back to where we started with the goal difference.
Have we seen a free kick goal in the Umzansi Esports, like, so far? Like, I'm not too sure. I'm not here on the Fridays, obviously, so I don't know if any of the Friday fixtures you had a cracker of a shot. Oh! The reply is instant. No blue ticks here from Darth as he sends that one flying. Yo, that was a good shot. As I was about to commend, as I was about to say, like, hey, can that go down? It's like the free kick of the season, guys. Darth comes back in. It's that goal. Beautiful. So, it's as if nothing happened.
All right, so we're just right back to where we started a few minutes ago. This goal, man, I feel like DarthMayhem is really, really regretful of the fact that that goal went through for the free kick. It would have been 5-2, a lot easier of a task. Still has a way back into the game, though. I am a bit concerned that both goals that he scored had to bounce in off of the woodwork. You know, because we've seen what the 12th man can do, and he's been kind today. Hope it doesn't end up in misery later for DarthMayhem. Gets the touch on the ball. Very good defense. Does seem like a man renewed in this game. Despite the fact that it's, I mean, technically he is ahead, right? It's 2-1 effectively in this particular leg. Doesn't matter on the aggregate, but certainly playing a lot better, a lot more proactive on his defense, not allowing space for Bobo to run on the ball, exactly like what we're seeing here, but might have been a mistake. He gives the ball to Ronaldo. Woo! Lost this tackle. Keeps it still at 6-2. 4 goals it's doable. It's very difficult, but it's certainly doable.
Yeah, it definitely is doable, and so far, seeing a lot of that fire that that he had when he was versing the more stronger opponents in the league. And I did get confirmation that that was actually the first free kick goal of the Umzansi Esports League. So shout out to Bobo coming in final fixture to get that one in, and yeah, giving us a little bit of hope for him to come back and maybe hit another one for us. So now he's gonna be able to play this ball from the center. Modric on it. Bobo's defense pulling up with him, so he's looking to really push this one up. And he gets past the defender. Cancelo on the ball. Here he is. Passes it down the line. Mbappe in a dangerous spot. Gets past. Atal's good in these positions. The shot comes through. Defender, the bodies.
Kind of surprising. I thought it was definitely going to be a goal kick on that one. It looked like the ball was spiked by Atal, but ends up being in favor of Bobo. This is actually a rare chance for DarthMayhem. If he can keep possession of this ball, he had so many players in advantage. Unfortunately, ends up giving up the possession, and now he's been passed by Bamba, who's certainly not going to miss from that range. 7-2, Johnny Bamba. I think this is beyond nails in a coffin. At this point, we're lowering him. We're busy singing songs. So many goals. This is a very rough matchup now. And with 5, where are we at now? That's minus 42 on the goal difference. Insane right now.
Yeah, it is insane, honestly. I'll see you at the after tears. And now, Darth just needs to come back in the second half and just give it all that he can. And yeah, it's the possession as well. It's interesting because it doesn't really feel like Bobo's had a lot of that possession so far, but he does. And I just think Darth needs to just tighten up right now. It's like he's forgotten how to really get that build-up play that he started off in the season. Working from all this pressure. He used to absorb pressure so well, but in this fixture today, it's just crumbling at the feet of pressure. But now Darth, here he goes. He's in. It's Mbappe. Mbappe on the ball. Mbappe gets a sneaky pass in through to Neymar. Takes a shot. Defenders are there. And how many stops have we seen today from defenders on opposite sides? To be honest with you, it's been a feat of defense from both sides to some extent.
Yep.
He's still in it. Actually gets lost. Oh no, he's still in it.
He's still in it, but he gives it up. No, Darth. What I've been noticing a lot in this tie is there've been a lot of situations where DarthMayhem's actually been in through on space or in a positive situation, but it's almost like he can't believe his own luck and ends up doing something that gives up that advantage. To be fair, he's not used to finding so many advantages, so when it does happen in the Umzansi Esports League, like you mentioned, probably not going to be the same if it was in Kosi Super Cup, but mentally, you try to approach the game with your opponents in mind. Goal, is it going to happen now? Nah, it's going to go wide. It's going to go wide for a goal kick this time around. But I definitely think that right now, DarthMayhem, if he could forget that he's in the Umzansi Esports League, would probably be doing better in this matchup. But things for him psychologically might just need the refresh. Even a tactical pause could help him out here because it feels like everything is just one step forward, two steps back, right? He starts defending better, gets a positive, or he starts defending better, no goals. Get some goals happening, cool. The backside becomes extremely leaky. Just nothing is all going according to plan at once for young DarthMayhem here.
Again, loses ball in possession. Atal in dangerous position to maybe run this one in and or find a pass. It gets past the defend. What? I don't know how he scored that, to be honest with you. I thought the keeper at least would maybe stop that, and there were two defenders on him, but somehow Atal, fancy footwork, gets past two defenders, takes the shot in to the top. The keeper's just stunned at that point. It's 8-2 on the aggregate right now, ladies and gentlemen.
8-2. Wow. This has just been an incredible tie. DarthMayhem can't find his way through. And he keeps trying to do that particular play with Neymar, force his way through with the dribbles, in through the center backs. Regrettably, when you go for that similar maneuver time after time after time, it's much easier to prepare for. This time around, let's see if he can find a way through. Mbappe on the ball, give it back to Aouar. We're at 43 on the goal difference. We need to make it shallower. He's going to try to go for the shot, but he went the wrong direction. Honestly, something that I've been very impressed by Bobo is even when DarthMayhem's been finding himself in the box through on space with only one defender or perhaps the keeper left to challenge, he's been guessing right on the 50-50 every single time, closing off the correct angle, making it extremely difficult for any kind of progressive play to happen from Darth. That's why I'm also thinking I've been worried about how the goals have happened. They've seemed like crackers and shockers, and sometimes you want to be able to win a game just with normal planned goals. You don't want to have to always be doing the spectacular to succeed.
And I was actually about to bring that up, that point that you did make, where these two goals really just felt really lucky for, Darth. They came right in the beginning, and I think it's really because, Bobo wasn't really ready for how the game started, and he just adjusted quickly, and now he's back, comfortable, working it. And, I mean, okay, look, today's the day of records, apparently. First free kick. Is Bobo going to set an aggregate score record? Because as far as I know, I think 8 is the most I've seen on aggregates so far. Maybe 9. Have we had 10 yet? Have we had double digits?
I believe we haven't had 10 in season 3, but in ancient lore, back from season 1 potentially, there might have been a game. We shall ask producers to check for us if possible, but there might have been a game with 11 that Julio did, if I'm remembering correctly. But we have indeed seen some extremely steep goal differences. This will not be the steepest one. However, if he loses this match in the way he is now, it's definitely the worst goal difference. He's trying now to get a goal back, at the very least. Still stays at 43 against them. Has the ball still. Not done just yet, Mbappe. Is this the chance? Yes, it is. There we go. Down to 42, baby. Only 3 more goals. Come on. Let's go. Let's do it, DarthMayhem. Back under 40, fam. Back under 40.
Cracker of a shot that comes in. And now Ronaldo's on the ball. Modric. And Bobo's going to try and make something here to try get some more goals in. Only 10 minutes left, though, so no real pressure. It's casual. Maybe you can find a sneaky clip to get, crack over a shot. But Darth's still fighting as he tries to push the ball forward here. Has managed to find a towel. Towel's been really dangerous in the Umzansi Esports, league so far. Oh my God, you see what I mean? Like, it's just these explosive plays that come out of nowhere that I think he just needs to work on his finishing, and then Darth is going to be a real issue, for a lot of people to deal with. His defense as well obviously needs a little bit of work, but I think once he gets his defense, on lock, and he can, clean up his finishing, I mean, what do you even do against cracker goals like that? You can't even stop them sometimes, and they just go into the back of the net.
DarthMayhem is basically Gohan from Dragon Ball. Nah, that's not going in. That's fine. He had that cross covered. He's basically Gohan, man. Every now and then comes through with an amazing surge of power. You just wish he could do it consistently and he'd be unstoppable. Now, though, he might find a goal. Getting through. He's not going to be able to. Kept out. Get the ball back, but he can't break it. So frustrating. Gohan wasn't angry enough, so not going to have a goal.
And this is going to look like the final play. And it's going to be Bobo And it's gonna go out for a goal kick, actually. So probably gonna kick this one out, and it's probably gonna end the tie here between Bobo and Darth. 8-3 on the aggregate score. Maybe, just maybe something here. Something's brewing. It's looking good so far, but no, the referee is like, we've had enough. It's time to call it. 8-3 is, yeah, it's I'm sure Dr. Sid has some talking points on that one. I mean, our predictions, let's not even talk about our predictions. They didn't even matter at this point. You know, after the fifth goal, it was like, hey.
Listen. I just want to make it known. Right? That I did say DarthMayhem would score 3 goals.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
You did say that. You did say that. But I did say he was going to break a record. Mine is 43. Is it 43 or 42? I'm not even sure right now. But that goal difference is a lot. But big shout out to the players. I have to say that as much as we make fun or we talk about the goal lines and the goal differences, it is not easy to compete at this level. The Umzansi Esports League is a very, very, very competitive league. As some people say, as we say in Nigeria, if it's easy, go do them, which means if it is easy, go do it yourself. To qualify for this league, we have to give a big shout out to DarthMayhem and, of course, Bobo Beast for coming through. But the score stands definitely 8-3 to Bobo Beast playing in this league. So, I mean, Tendo, talk us through the tables, what's happening, who's done what, and what are we looking at?
Yeah, as you can see, Bobo gets that extra 3 points that I wouldn't say he so desperately needed, because he needed way more than that to stay in the league. So right now, the both of them looking like they're going into that relegation battle. Minus 42 on aggregate. That is something else. I mean, it's kind of disappointing for me though, right? Because you look at Bobo's goal difference, only -1. So you definitely could see he was, performing through the season, but you have to attribute like most of those goals to make up for his goal difference coming today. But yeah, it's now time to look at Young Savage and this game that he has. It's really gonna shake up the table if he wins this one, and it's gonna really get a lot of people sweating. But yeah, like you said, you got to shout out the players at the end of the day. It's not easy to be up against, the top flight. And when you are here, you try to give your best. And sometimes, things don't go your way. And I think today, and for most of the season, that's maybe the storyline of both Bobo Beast and DarthMayhem. But you got to commend them for coming here and trying to give their best week in and week out,
Yeah.
Yes, but what are the odds that Young Savage loses both matches?
Yo, please don't say it. Please don't say
non-zero. They're non-zero, which is the problem. It's possible. Here's the thing that's really frustrating for everyone involved is that for Young Savage, just a draw. If he can simply draw a match, right? Depending on what the goal difference might look like from that draw, he could still find himself knocking Divac off for 4th place. If he loses both matchups, depending on who he loses to, and depending on how Moby performs, then maybe Moby is the one that ends up taking over that spot. It's, I think it's also, of all the people, like as much as DarthMayhem and Bobo were very glad to have played each other last, right? As their final hurrah, you want to go up against the person closest in skill to you. If you're Young Savage, you were desperate to want to have a match against Bobo or DarthMayhem for your last 2 matches. Now you're going up against a situation where there is no second chances. Imagine having to play Masoom. We're talking about what happens if Masoom, like if DarthMayhem, Young Savage, excuse me, is able to beat Masoom. You have to beat Masoom. Come on. It's really difficult to do.
True. Anyways, we will discuss these hard matches and all the different permutations when we come back after this break. This is still the Umzansi Esports League Season 3, brought to you, of course, by none other. See you after the break, guys. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Umzansi Esports League Season 3. This is, of course, brought to you by none other than Nordwing Gaming. My name is Dr. Sid here with Endo and Snare, and we have just witnessed such an amazing game. A dropping, a destruction, a demolition. It was 8-3, Bobo Beast to DarthMayhem, putting both players out of the tournament for this season. But up next, we have a fire match. Let's take a look at the players or the schedule of who's going to be playing today. Raw, ladies and gentlemen, as I said earlier on, we had a match between DarthMayhem and Bobo Beast, with Bobo Beast taking the game 8-3, but both players have dipped out of the tournaments after playing all their matches and not being able to secure a top 4 spot. But up next, we have the firecracker, that is Young Savage versus Masoom. Now, these two players have very important matches to play. Young Savage needing a win to take him into a position that allows him to qualify for the semifinals, and Masoom needing to secure his spot. So this match is definitely a do or die for both players. Let's take a very, very quick look at the table standings to see exactly what's going on. So, Snare, would you like to talk us through the standings and the permutations of what exactly is going on between Masoom and Young Savage and the table?
So the thing that needs to happen today, right? Like you're mentioning, Masoom has a very unique opportunity. If he wins here, and the reason why it's important for him to win is that he wants to make sure that he avoids playing the Beast or Unfazed, very close matchup. He wants to play whoever's fourth, whether that might be Divac, Moby, or Young Savage, who he's mostly beaten before. If he wins, he guarantees the easier matchup for himself. If he loses, then suddenly his fate is no longer in his own hands. He's in a similar situation as Divac, waiting to see whether or not the Beast Bianchi can leapfrog over him. And for Young Savage, he's the only player in the league left with 2 games in hand. So this is actually his weekend. How the league is going to look like, what the table is going to ultimately be represented by in standings, actually is going to come down to Young Savage. If he loses both matchups, then the table practically stays the same. If he wins both matches, everything is different, and who knows exactly what things are going to look like. Divac is suddenly out of the top 4. Then it's an arms race to see if Moby Zilla can also put himself in the same position. So Young Savage, everything to play for. For Masoom, if he just simply gets a win, 1 win is all he needs. A draw is not enough. A loss is not enough, because he just does not want to be in that situation where you're waiting for your opponent to decide exactly what the rest of your league is going to look like. I would not want to be the only person who is happy right now are Bobo and DarthMayhem. At least for them, it's done. It's finished. Everybody else is still sweating and thinking about what the next matchup will represent.
Yes, thinking about what the next matchup will represent. We already know what the matchups right now. The opportunity for the players to be playing in the brackets right now. First position and fourth position play in our first semifinal, and the second and third position play in our second semifinal on the 6th and 7th of August, respectively, moving then into the finals for the winner of semifinals 1 and 2 on the 8th of August. And then we know who will be crowned champion of the Umzansi Esports League Season 3 FIFA tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, and that prize pool, which is on your screen right now, 2,500.
So yeah, as Dr. Sid was saying, $2,500 for FIFA. A lot is in contention. A lot is there to play for. So one of the big things I think for the next couple of days is, as you're playing Tendo, it's very important, right, to not let the amount of prize pool get to your head. You know for a fact that this $2,500, it's a big deal. For PUBG Mobile, the standings, everyone's already knows what they have to play for that $1,500, but you still have to mentally prepare yourself to even be in this contention for $2,500. It's a lot of scratch. It's a big amount of money. The question is, which one of the players that are playing today is going to be good enough for the ability to get through? So between Masoom and Young Savage, we know what they're playing for. We know what this might change. The question that we have is whether or not the goals will come from the underdog. Masoom has been the
Oh
Iceman,
wow.
gave him that moniker all the way in season 1 for a reason, because when it comes down to the wire, he puts it away every single time. So Tendo, tell me, is this the day where that stops? Or do you think that the Iceman is going to be yet again cool, calm, collected, and through for it? Hey, Dr. Sid is here too.
I do apologize for little technical difficulties with some of my equipment over here. But as I was saying, I was looking at the prize pool and I was saying that the brackets with the players in the finals and whoever gets to win that final would and gets their share of the $2,500 prize pool gets to buy me a PlayStation 5. But you can't really tell that I have one already right here. Let's just forget about that. You know what I'm saying? But it's super exciting, you know, and we're getting closer and closer to the grand finale. It's just when we finish the matches tomorrow, we know who's going to be playing our semifinals 1 and 2, and then who's going to be moving on into the grand finale. It is almost over, the excitement that is this tournament. And I was just telling the guys off air, just want to share with everyone, it isn't easy to play at this level. And we are looking to obviously expand and make the Umzansi Esports League bigger. So if you are watching this right now and you feel that you have what it takes, make sure you follow Nodwin Gaming Africa on all their socials, because there's going to be a lot of information about how you can qualify and you can be the next player to be partaking in this tournament. Definitely not getting -14 the goal difference, but doing something amazing. So predictions, guys. Prediction, guys. My best time of the day. Predictions.
Well, we don't have time for it. I say Masoom 2-1. No, 3-2. Masoom 3-2. Someone's going to get 3-2 today.
I think it's going to be 3-2, yeah, to Young Savage, though, for me.
All right, let's go. The predictions are balanced, and I'll see you guys after this amazing match.
Thank you, Dr. Sid. Let's see what we got here. It is one of these matchups that we do expect it to be not just explosive, but extremely, extremely tight. Masoom, very concise player, the Iceman for a reason. But the Young Savage has been impressing more and more lately. The style that we saw him sometimes not be able to convert early in the league has become second nature at this point. But my gosh, what? Okay, all right. I think Masoom is trying to tell us that, guys, please go home. We know what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get that first place.
Yeah, the Iceman strikes on a cold winter's night. And Young Savage needs to get a jacket, because if he's not ready for this fixture, it's going to be really tough coming into that final game and praying and hoping for something and looking at the leaderboard and the points and the table. Just, yeah, man, my breath, I got to compose myself here to get ready for this one. But now, there's going to be a towel on the attack here for Masoom. Masoom's looking dangerous so far. He's here to play. He wants to be top of that leaderboard. And Fernandez going to get this build-up playing. Mbappe on it. Neymar back to Ronaldo. Ronaldo tries to find a little bit of room to work with, but not much now. And Young Savage able to get a build-up playing and reset, regather, rethink.
Very important for him to be able to do all of that while also not allowing Masoom to re-establish his own pace. A big thing as well for Masoom is that every single goal, he was 3 goals up on goal difference on Julio. So that means that every single goal extends him even further, makes the job of the beast even harder. Right now it's 4. Can he make it more? He's on the defense. What an interception with Bruno Fernandes in possession to be able to find a counter-attack potentially. Ronaldo waiting on somebody to open up with the run, but nobody is able to occupy decent enough space. Young Savage, concise on the defense, able to make sure that there's no open spaces, but it's not going to last forever as he eventually gets through. Ronaldo tackled off the ball by Davies. And it still is going to be 1-0, but somehow back on it again, Natal. This can't be how it goes in. No, and it's not. And it's not. It's a corner.
And it's really interesting because if you see like the contrast between, you know, the previous matchup and this matchup, it almost felt like the Bobo Beast and DarthMayhem game was really slow paced. You know, it was so slow. Are we back in?
All right, so the game continuing. We just had a small glitch for a moment, but that will not be interrupting any of the action here. The Umzansi Esports League, and the goal from Young Savage. What a time!
Just in time! Just in time! I'm back. I love the technical team in the background working fast just to make sure we get in for that goal. And it's 1-1. It's on. You know, now the pressure is really starting to build up on both sides. You know, each of them playing for a different right here, and definitely finishing top of the leaderboard, you know, is in its own right an achievement, you know. And it's not like one of those situations again, right, Snare, where you look and you know you've kind of qualified to go into those playoff positions, but you need to still win every single game as if it's you playing that grand final anyways, right? So right now, that's exactly what we're seeing from both sides. And before, you know, we got that cut off, I was kind of talking about how the pacing of this game contrasting to the last game. This game's really fast-paced. You know, that Bobo Beast and DarthMayhem, it was really slow. You know, I think we even had a lot of time to really add a lot of color into that game and speak. But this one is just back and forth and back and forth. You almost lose your breath with how much is happening.
Which, like you mentioned, tends to come up in these games where the final result is of paramount importance. One big thing is whether or not you can break through this defense. So proof of concept. The easier is able to do it, the better he can do it later. And what a pass! But Bruno Fernandes can't get through. And it turns out, was that offside or a foul? It looked like it was offside. So gets ruled. Not going to be an opportunity to get past. But still, I think Young Savage is definitely feeling like he got lucky on that one. Masoom was 100% through on the space there.
Yeah, there's a lot of space for him to work with, but now some space on the opposite end here as Sanchez is on the ball, trying to get a dribble in. Dribble goes in good. It's a shot. The keeper flicks it in. It's a corner. It's taken quick. Sent back. It's in the box now. Turn is on from Mbappe, and it's the keeper to get it. Edison lost this defense, manages to catch that one. Gonna create an attack now for Masoom, and it's gonna be really dangerous now. Tal been dangerous so far in this position and actually draws a foul. And now this is a dangerous spot to be in if you're Young Savage.
You know, you were speaking earlier on about how much faster this game is compared to the matchup we just saw. To give credence to that, consider that we just moments ago had a defense and a save that prevented a certain goal, and now we might be having one on the opposite side of the pitch, but Neymar just possessed in the middle of the box. Must say, although the last matchup was between the 7th and 8th, for some reason, the gulf between Bobo Beast and DarthMayhem seems a lot larger than the gulf between Young Savage and Masoom in this matchup, because Young Savage is really here to play.
Yeah, and he knows that he's, you know, the underdog in this situation, and he really needs to perform here. So I think we're going to see a lot out of Savage here. You know, he's had a lot, basically more time than everybody to kind of improve his game because he has these games in hand. You know, he has some more time to study his opponents compared to everybody else. So he really needs to try and implement all of that. And so far, this passing link-up play is looking good. The shot comes in, but not yet, but he's back in with the curler!
What? Okay.
What a goal.
What a goal. And Savage. All right. Cool. So I think one of the things that I'm loving from this matchup, right, is we were talking about it in the previous match, that it's one of the few opportunities where, although Bobo was slightly favored, no one's truly an underdog in that one. Young Savage would certainly be considered an underdog coming into this, but is not playing like it at all. Playing like a champion. He's gonna not... Oh, what? I thought that was a goal, but it goes wide. The way he's playing right now, though, he's playing with deliberation, with purpose. And it's not one of these situations where the goals he's gotten feel lucky. No, these feel very much deserved. And it could easily have been more, if not for the defensive efforts of Masoom, who's already had to put in some world-class interceptions. Will be needed to do so again as he forces the ball out for a throw-in. But once again, the pace of this game, because we're already up on the touchline and close to another attack for Young Savage.
Savage playing this build-up play. Sanchez on the ball. Not much room to really work with, but he does manage to find it. And the defense is good, though, on the side of Masoom. And he's going to be able to counter this one himself. Ronaldo is on the ball, passes to Atal. So far, so good in terms of closing down Atal for Young Savage. We know how dangerous he can really be in the hands. And we've lost connection. and we'll just have to take a quick intermission. And yeah, I mean, so far, so good. I think in terms of Young Savage's gameplay, I think his game plan is in, and he's implementing everything I think he's learned from the season, and especially this off time that he's had in terms of like these games in hand, to really come in and grab this one and take this win, because he needs this win. This is like, for me, like the do or die win, right? You can lose that final game and like look at the table and like flip the coin and be like, look, it's in the hands of like whatever can happen. But if you don't win this fixture, then you don't get that opportunity in that final game, right? But you shouldn't take that final game any less seriously. Obviously, it's just a little bit of reassurance that perform good in this one, a little bit of like a cushion in the next one.
That being said, though, that obviously is what's going through Young Savage's mind right now. But what about for the entertainment value? If Young Savage cops a draw today with Masoom, then we go into tomorrow's final games with a situation where Masoom and like can't do anything. He has to just wait and just watch everything else happen. Young Savage needs to win his final game, and if Julio wants to go first, he needs to win his final game as well. So that could make it more exciting. I'm hoping. I mean, to be fair, it'll be more fun for me to watch, but for Young Savage's, for the sake of his sanity, definitely needs to perform well today. But he's doing it, right? I mean, you've spoken a couple of weeks ago, more than once, about how on occasions where the one player needs this more, that's the player that you expect to be able to show up. And thus far, Young Savage has shown up, right? Masoom, if you're him, although it's only early on into the second half, right? Are you thinking about chasing back the goal in this leg itself, or are you going to be rather focusing on leg number 2 and adjusting strategy there so that you don't end up losing the game with a larger goal difference?
Look, at the end of the day, I think the way the format is right now, you kind of have to take it in halves, right? It's like, first half of the first game, second half of the second game, and then first half of the second game. You know what I mean? Like, it's in almost 4 quarters. So you have a little bit of room to change your game plan and your strategy. And I think, Masoom is good for that. He definitely can adapt very quickly. So we'll just have to wait and see how this one goes, if he's going to maybe pull it out and win this first leg rather than trying to bring it back in the second leg. So he's on this attack. Ronaldo's on the ball in a dangerous space. Oh, it looked like a shot was going to come through, but fakes it well. But the defense isn't fake like me. So now they're going to be able to play this one up. Young Savage going to be able to build this one up. And there's a little bit of room for him to work, but the defense is really tracking back well on the side of Masoom.
I must say as well that the earlier matchup that we saw against Bobo, Beast, and DarthMayhem, we'll talk about it in a second, because
what?
All right, Young Savage, Savage, living up to the name. My goodness, all of these goals are the kind of goals that would just debilitate your morale. My goodness, 3-1 right now, in very strong fashion. And again, this is not luck. This is a 100% pure skill from Young Savage.
Yeah, this game is really showing. The Iceman is starting to melt here. I think Savage is bringing the fire. And so far, you got to start asking some questions on the side of Masoom. Like, did you show up to play today? Like, it's really, again, it's that situation, right? Where if you look at how the playoffs are situated, second and third versus each other, and obviously first and fourth versus each other. Obviously your fourth place opponent is gonna be the weaker, because I think second and third is really strong at the end of the day, right? I think like in any sport, in any situation, the second and the third person in any competition is always really strong to go up against, right? So you don't want to be in that situation where it's a 50-50 for you, right? Because as it stands right now, that fourth place is a bunch of players who have been performing really well throughout the season, but haven't been, living up to their full potential. The Savages, the Mobies, the defaults. So you want to be versing those guys in that situation as Masoom. So you need this win,
Certainly, nothing else for your own confidence going into the playoffs. You need to know that no matter what happens, if you were to go up against Young Savage, you'd be able to trounce him. Certainly not what's happening right now. It's 3-1. Might become more than that, because Young Savage is back on the ball right now. Looking for a way through here. Nani gets stopped on the ball, gets it down onto Crave, who has been performing wonders and miracles here. Looks like there must have been some conversation back at the Goliath Gaming team house, because Nani for Young Savage and for Julio the Beast Bianchi has just been looking a bit too strong of late. This time, though, it does get dispossessed, so no other goal coming.
Is there a universe where the table is shaken up to some extent where, let's say this game goes in favor of Young Savage, he takes the points away, Masoom stays at his, his point level, finishes in the second, third position, and let's say somehow, some way, does Savage creep into third position here and then have to go up against Masoom again in the quarterfinal because obviously second and third go up against each other? What's the mental in that situation there, Snell? Like, what happens? Because Nani's here, and Nani looks like he wants to do something dangerous, but so far, so good with the defense.
I will tell you that if the Umzansi Esports League, in terms of the group stages, ended right after this matchup, it would be Masoom in first position still, and then Young Savage now in third. So, he actually be second. Fourth. So Young Savage would end up playing Masoom. Oh, what a goal! All right. Masoom has been getting into that exact same position so many times in this matchup that I thought this time around it would be yet another save. But it gets bombed into the bottom corner. Okay, we like to see it. But the point is he needs this win because if he doesn't get this win, this might actually be the matchup that he goes into in the first round of the playoffs, and nobody wants that. Want to have I mean, of course we want that, but Masoom doesn't. Right now.
Yeah, because I mean that matchup is just gonna be a grudge match, on especially if Savage is gonna keep playing like this. Oh, the shot, Crave is just, I think, really slept on, and I've only seen Savage utilize Crave, and he's been really, really good with him. In these situations where he just finds the space to send off these shots that just rattle the entire defense and the keeper. Nani on the ball, trying to make something happen. And yes, he is in the lead right now if he does end this game off, coming into this first leg. But that second leg is definitely a different game, It could be the flipped score on that second leg game. So Savage, can he find something at the India?
It would help him a lot, but it's not going to be the case. Masoom decides that the safer place to rather get it out so that the matchup ends. I think if you get the 3-2 here, you were right, definitely on the leg one prediction. But getting this kind of scoreline, the main thing that it does for you and that it achieves for you if you are Young Savage is not necessarily the cushion, right? Because like we've established, 1 goal cushions are nothing in FIFA. But it's the confidence to know that you can take the game to Masoom. That even if Masoom is the one that scores first, you can not only chase the game back, but lead him afterwards and keep him at bay. So going into the next one, he has the confidence, he has the momentum advantage. And for the most part, honestly, I think Young Savage, of all the players in the league currently that's left, he's the one that's most affected by momentum, positively or negatively. When he has it, he seems unstoppable. When it starts to get taken away, that's when some chips in the armor start to emerge. So right now, if he keeps this momentum, he's looking in good stead. Not only that, he's looking in good stead to go into finals weekend, because can you imagine psychologically for him? He's like, I'm 5th. Bobo is actually the person that spent more time in the league than I have, and yet here I am beating Masoom. Imagine what kind of psychological advantage that gives you into the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. It's a big advantage that you really need to be taking in, and that's why you have to win every fixture, right? At the end of the day, right? It's about building that confidence and that momentum that, like, regardless of whoever's in front of you, you're able to just take them out, So, yeah, I mean, Savage just needs to do what he's doing right now because it's really working. It's melting the ice, man, just a little bit. It's like a block of ice right now. And Savage is like a lighter underneath, and he's just like, just enough. We need him to be like a whole bonfire, like he's throwing Masoom inside the bonfire. So it's gonna be interesting because I mean, looking at tomorrow's fixtures, right? I mean, we have the 4 games today. So tomorrow, I'm pretty sure if I remember well, Moby has to go up against the Beast, isn't it? Right? Because I don't think they've played each other just yet. Because Savage has played Beast. I do remember that fixture happening. So he's definitely not playing Beast. So he's playing unfazed, if I'm not mistaken. Savage, man, it's tough, man. You just have back-to-back hectic games. What do you even do? How do you bounce?
You don't need to bounce
that's
back
how you
when
do
you're
it.
ahead.
When you're ahead, you don't need to bounce back. What?
Exactly.
The game just started. What happened?
Yeah. what happened is that Young Savage, right? One of the things that we've seen be a constant look from Masoom, especially in terms of how he does and conducts his defense. We've already seen it many times in this game, is that he doesn't actually prefer closing you down on the defense. He likes to cut off the passing lines, pressure certain players to force them off the ball, but he's not going to just immediately run you down. So Young Savage realizes this, realizes that whenever there's space on the flank, you can exploit it, you can run there, and if your quality is high enough, even in an overcrowded box, you can find a way through. Most players don't have that quality, so you end up not being able to score against Masoom, even in that position. But Young Savage is the kind of player that can do it. 4-2 up right now. And the thing is about how he's playing, right? Look at what he started to do. We saw in the first half, in the first leg, one side of play, right? Him being very aggressive on running on the ball. Then we saw him utilize the flanks. And now he's going straight through the players in the middle of the field. And there's so many different styles that Masoom has to adapt to that he's not necessarily able to keep his usual composure and control on the ball. I mean, look at him. How often do you actually see Masoom making a pass that doesn't go successfully, that's intercepted that hard, and into an immediate counter-attack from Young Savage?
Which again is on an attack, but this time the defense is going to close him down. And your points are really good, because all I'm thinking about is, you know, when you're in like a team-based game, you know, you usually have these roles that are covered in the team. You know, there's like the entry faggers who are really good mechanically, but maybe sometimes their strategy isn't really good. You know, you have your IGL who obviously oversees what everybody is doing, your support players, your flanks, etc., etc. So I'd like to attribute Savage to really being like that entry fragger, technical player who's just really sublime at finishing. You know, I think in the entire Umzansi Esports League, whenever Savage is on the ball, in a really good opportunity, just like this is gonna be a goal right here.
What?
Imagine.
Okay.
Imagine I called it like that.
I'm actually.
But that's how it feels with him, right? You know, he gets the ball, he goes forward, and because you know he's good for his goals, you really can get it in. I think also the Beast is probably on that same level where good space, good goal coming in. You know.
Effectively, yeah, where you're just certain that give him a pocket of space, he's going to be able to find a way through. What's really scary as well is, like you're mentioning, when he gets through and gets the space on the ball, definitely looks like one of the best players mechanically in the finishing in the league. And what amazes me about how this matchup is going right now is it's 4-2. It could easily have been more. There's been such great defense from Masoom. It might not seem like it given the scoreline. I mean, we just
like, look at that, right? Like
that could have been too.
You know, we see a lot of corners in the like in Umzansi Esports League so far, and not many people really are able to even get a shot on target, like with the header there. But so calm, cool, collected, Savage. He's just technically skilled in that right now, you know.
He has to deal with a very good through ball from Masoom. Not a style of play we often see coming in from the Iceman, but he's capable of adapting. Still has that championship caliber. Gets it to CR7. Gets the goal into the bottom corner. It's 4-3. We're back to only a 1-goal cushion for Young Savage. And Masoom, like, despite everything that's happening, right? What I love about Masoom, as you were mentioning earlier, he's starting to melt a little bit, but he's showing that he's still solid. Absorbs all this pressure. He's like, okay, you're scoring goals, cool fam. Mine are coming. Don't worry. Don't even be stressed. Just wait for it.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we've spoken a lot about Savage, but if you're watching Masoom right now, he's not panicking. You know, he's very still the Iceman, cool, calm, collected. He's adapting around the play. And what I'm finding is, especially with that goal there, that was a really good counter of a lot of the pressure that he's been absorbing so far from Savage. And right now, he's focused on the defense, and he knows that at the end of the day, he can win this basically in the defensive battle. And he just needs those 1 or 2 explosive moments where a couple of his players are upfield. Just like in a situation like this, Neymar on the ball, Mbappe gonna make a run.
What?
But no, the defense is there. It's good. Di Maria now gonna turn over the ball with Nani. They're gonna work their way in. Crave's on the ball. So far, it's been really dangerous. Nani's still on the ball in the box here. This could be a really crucial goal for this tie. It's Crave. Crave turns around, takes a shot!
Oof.
And the keeper sends it wide.
32 minutes in, it feels like that's been the 5th save already for Edison to have to pull off. He might have to do it again. Plays in on space. This time will not be denied. Are you kidding me? Wow. All right. Young Savage, yet again, extends the lead to 2, playing extremely solid FIFA. And the very impressive part is he's also not cracking under pressure. He just had a goal scored against him. He's like, cool, whatever, fam. You do you. Goals are coming from my direction as well. And what I also love about it is, although the goal that was scored by Masoom was a different style of attack than what Masoom's been putting out onto the field so far, now we see that Young Savage has adapted to that as well, and crowding out even those kind of balls, spending most of his time on the attack.
I think both players have that attribute of, you said this a lot with especially Young Savage, where regardless of which side the momentum is on, he has it in a sense. You know, like you get scored, he wants to score, to level things up or to pull ahead. You know, he scores, he wants to score more. I think Masoom is definitely the same. You know, and that's why he's so clinical and so good at in the esports league so far. Even if you knock him down, he's gonna keep on fighting. And this is he keeps on fighting, and it's just these technical, like, masterpiece plays that so far are just giving him that upper hand right now, Young Savage, in this tie.
5-3. If then nothing changes, he is officially, as we speak, in the top 4, guaranteed to go to the playoffs if nothing should change. Masoom, of course, will not have any worries of denied his own ticket. He punched it a long time ago, but he wants to secure first place. 2 goals away from it, it might become 3 because Nani in on the attack, gets the ball back onto Crave. This time around, Masoom, aggressive tackle, will enable him to at least keep it 2 goals. 1 half left, Tendo. You have to keep 50-50 defense with the possession, right? The shots on target are very equivalent. Obviously, Young Savage has a few more, but the passing accuracy is more or less the same. With the tackling accuracy is more or less the same. The only thing that seems to be separating these two today is that Young Savage, for some reason, is putting magnets on the ball, magnets in the back of the net, and he's like, go. There you go.
Yeah, it's strange, it's for me, it's like, why is Savage in this position where he's fighting so hard to be in the top 4, right? He's of that quality already, but it just goes against to show how competitive this Umzansi Esports League is, hosted by Northern Gaming, right? Where top players, oh no, this is a very big mistake from the defense, and it's gonna go in.
Okay,
that's not what you want to see.
So you wanted to ask why he's in the position where he's not in the top 4, and what's been separating, by and large, the top 4 from those who aren't within it isn't necessarily just skill on the board, isn't necessarily just understanding of FIFA. It's a composure, it's a lack of mistakes primarily, and that is going to be a huge one that might just cost Young Savage. We've seen it cost him before in the Umzansi Esports League, where a single moment of madness ends up being the result, or the determiner of the result in that matchup. Now Masoom has a lifeline. He knows that for a little bit of time, he's going to have the momentum and the psychological edge. He's trying to exploit it. He's in on attack. He's in the box right now. Neymar can't find a way to keep control of the ball. All right, I think that might have closed the window. Young Savage might have been able to reset after that.
This tie right now is like, it's like 10 goals in this game, almost, like on both sides. Hello? Like, this is like the most back and forth tie so far this season. And like, for great reason. There's a lot on the line for both players. So Mbappe now trying to make this build-up play, and Nani has just been a pivotal player. You mentioned it earlier that like Nani in the Goliath camp apparently is the player to.
Guess who's back?
Oh,
6-4 right now, as we had a slight hiccup, but we come back. The goal is through. It is a situation where that little bit of extra gap is opened up yet again. It just seems to be like clockwork. 1 goal one side, 1 goal the other, almost immediately. What we're gonna see now, Masoom able to get this goal, playing, not going to be able to get the ball back. He was so close. He was so close. Had attacking players in position, but just couldn't steal the ball away in the correct place.
Yeah, a bit worried for the Iceman, honestly, right now. You know, you can't take anything away from his. Oh no, Mbappe. Oh, Savage.
Yeah.
Oh, Savage.
Savage.
Oh, Savage.
Savage. Ratchet.
Savage. That's a Savage, honestly, at that point.
Yeah.
You know, you see Masoom crumbling, you know, to Savage right now. And you remember when I was talking about, like, how does that table finish? Is this gonna be the semi-final matchup that we see? As it stands, Masoom has to go back onto the drawing board.
What? All right. Okay, I would like to request all the players in the Umzansi Esports League to please give my colleague, my comrade Tendo, an opportunity to finish his sentences before you come through with the fire, amazing goals off the volley. Thank you very much, because my goodness, Masoom won't even let you speak. He's like, 3 goals? No. This game is a 1 or 2 goal affair. Never even close to 3. What just happened? What a goal.
Yeah, what a goal from both sides, honestly, the way they came in. Nani back on the ball. And yeah, I mean, look, if this is a semi-final matchup right now, you gotta be worried, you know, because there's definitely some cracks here that Young Savage is able to exploit so far against Masoom. So yeah, it's another build-up play, yeah, but it's gonna get snuffed out. Cancelo's gonna be able to get this one passed. It's on to Ronaldo. Ronaldo back to Cancelo. Cancelo lays it off to Atal. Masoom really needs something here to get back into this tie as well, because it's 76 minutes and he's passed, and it's Neymar. He's closed down. The defense is there to recover, but not yet. The ball's back, but yes, he gets a free kick there.
That is so sad, because for Masoom, I can actually understand why. I just realized something as you were mentioning about what the league might look like after this matchup. I was somewhat entranced by just the FIFA, forgot about the playoffs. If this gets one more goal in favor of Young Savage, that will allow him to have 3 goals up, but crucially, it will shave the goal difference down to 0 between Masoom and the Beast Bianchi. If Young Savage gets 2 goals up and wins by a 4-goal aggregate, Masoom is officially in 2nd place and is knocked off of top place with no mathematical possibility of coming back under his own power. Extremely important situation here, and Young Savage, a bit of a risk with the movement of the ball out from the goal kick, but it'll pay off for him. I think that's what makes it a bit interesting for me, that particular situation, is that now we're at a stage where Young Savage is no longer the one that needs the next goal the most. Masoom needs the next goal more, so potentially that gives him now the greater edge, the greater desire to play this out. Can he get this goal? Ronaldo in the box, looking for allies, finds Neymar in the middle. Can't get through these defense though. Young Savage playing extremely strong on the ball. And with the help of Renato Sanchez, not only get the ball back, but potentially gets it back in Sendo.
Big space to work with, but the pass is a little bit offside in terms of just not finding anybody. And Nani, wait, he's back on the attack all of a sudden. Craves in. There's a cross opportunity maybe to play in. The keeper has to dive to get it out. It's good now. There's a counter on the opposite side. Is this Masoom's moment to maybe pull something back here? 85th minute on the clock. That's good there from Atal. Opens up some space here. Neymar, a little bit fatigued here, but there's an opportunity to score, and he finds it.
No way. I know I said a draw would be hella entertaining, but 6-7. Masoom has about 3 minutes of normal time, potentially 1 or 2 of added time to try and make his final mark in the game. Surprisingly, despite the scoreline being 7-6, for me, my man of the match is Edison in this game for Masoom, who somehow kept him in it in moments where it's not supposed to go. But now, Renato Sanchez, can he get away through? No, he cannot. Bruno Fernandes tracks back on the defense, but I do not think there's enough time for Masoom to make a play. The loss, say, probably going to be had by Young Savage. As I say that though, Masoom, okay, got the ball, got dispossessed. Yo,
what did we just witness? 7-6 on aggregate score?
What? 7-6. That was... And the thing is, it could easily have been 7-7. It could have been 6-6. It could have been 10-10. The way that this game ended up happening at the end. What a cracker. Wow, what a way for Masoom to end his time.
That was intense. That was so intense. It was like watching a table tennis match. You know what I'm saying? And Tendo, I just want to apologize really quickly on behalf of the players for always cutting you off every time you were speaking. That was some amazing gameplay, ladies and gentlemen. Young Savage taking it narrowly, but you couldn't tell if you were watching 7-6. It was a cracker of a match. Now, let us take a look at what that does to the table and what we are expecting next from tomorrow's games. Snare, do you want to talk us through this? And let's see the numbers. Woo!
So now look, right? Now is where life is fun. Because Masoom was able to claw back and fight back as hard as he did, even though the match was lost, he maintains the 3 goals difference. But he stays at first place. He doesn't advance further beyond the beast. Young Savage is third. Divac officially knocked out of the playoffs. He stays in the Umzansi Esports League, but there's no advancement possible from him. And now, Young Savage has done his work. He got the victory. You were asking Dr. Sid before this, what's the odds he loses both matchups? Now that he's done at least one part of the job, it's all on Moby again. Because if Moby wins tomorrow, then Young Savage is going to be still in fourth, but Unfazed gets knocked out. So it's not over. The work isn't done. And if Moby wins, Unfazed gets some points, and Young Savage doesn't, that means he's suddenly no longer playing in the playoffs. So nobody can rest. None of these players can sleep. Even Masoom and the Beast Bianchi can't be satisfied by what's happening because neither of them wants to play Young Savage after what they saw here today. So if the Beast wins tomorrow, he has to avoid Young Savage. If he loses, then he has to play Young Savage. Young Savage has changed things for everybody, made things exciting, and made sure that you simply cannot afford to miss the last day of the league.
So tomorrow we have matches between who's playing tomorrow. That's what I want to know. Who does Moby play tomorrow? Does Moby play Unfazed?
I'm pretty sure he's playing on. Yeah, it should be Unfazed because Savage has played the Beast already in the previous matchup.
Yeah. So Mobyzilla plays Unfazed and Young Savage plays the Beast. Now let's take a look at this very, very quickly before we end wrap up for the day. So Mobyzilla playing Unfazed. If
Moby should be playing the Beast. They haven't played.
No. I just had confirmation.
Oh, it's a confirmation. Okay.
Moby is playing Unfazed tomorrow, which means if Moby wins, Unfazed is out. So literally, that match is a do or die for fourth position. At least for qualification. Either one of those players who wins the match will qualify for the next round. A draw keeps Unfazed in fourth position. Right. Oof. Young Savage playing the Beast means that he can either go top or stay exactly where he is or move down to fourth position depending on what happens between the match between Unfazed.
They can also draw, which would put the Beast in first position and Young Savage second.
I was looking at that as well, which would be pretty interesting. Good, because then the matchup again happens, right? Because then Masoom goes to second, right? Yo, guys, it's I think the person with the most pressure is Moby right now. It is on.
It's Moby.
Yeah, it's on. Moby. You have to show up tomorrow.
Moby has to win because even a draw isn't good enough because of the goal difference.
Yeah.
At this particular moment. So, tomorrow, I think that might be our first game for tomorrow, but we'll wait and see for confirmation. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, it is hot. Tomorrow, the final 2 matches or 4 matches that will decide who qualifies for the next phase. Let's take another quick look at the brackets and how the players are going to be lined up for the the semifinals, and the finals. So as we can see, whoever's in first position will play whoever's in fourth position in our semifinal 1. Whoever gets second and third will play each other in our semifinal 2. And then the winners of semifinal 1 and semifinal 2 will play each other in the grand finale. The dates for these matches are 6th, 7th, and 8th of August, respectively. So, ladies and gentlemen, you do not want to miss tomorrow's broadcast of the Umzansi Esports League Season 3 FIFA tournament. It is going to be lit. I want to say big thank you to Thendo and Snare for bringing us all the action. It's always an excitement when you guys come through. The games are just lit with lots of fire. My name is Dr. Sid. We're going to be signing out right now. But like we said, you do not want to miss tomorrow's games. It is do or die, put up or shut up, go hard or go home. And let's see where the players will end up in our top four. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you tomorrow.